The house was quieter than grief, not peaceful. Just emptied. My sister had already taken what she wanted, framed photos, crystal. The leather chair from Dad's study. She had movers, she had timelines. I stayed behind because someone had to close drawers gently. Dad's desk was heavier than it looked. Oak, scarred near the right edge where he used to tap his rin while thinking. I opened each drawer methodically. Bills. Warranty manuals. Old tax returns. It felt less like sorting and more like translating a life into categories. The false bottom wasn't obvious. It shifted slightly when I pressed on the back panel. There was one envelope, my name. In his handwriting. Dated the day I was born. I sat down before opening it, though I didn't know why. The first line read, "I never wanted a second daughter." It wasn't shocking. That's the part I don't like admitting. It was clarifying. Growing up, there had always been a tempered difference between my sister and me. She received piano lessons, I got the used keyboard when she quit. She went to a private university. I commuted to state school because it was more practical. She inherited our mother's softness. I inherited scrutiny. I used to think I was imagining it. That maybe I was more difficult. Less charming. Too quiet. The letter removed the guesswork. He wrote about pressure from his father. The expectation of a son to carry the name. He described the ultrasound appointment where he found out I was a girl. He wrote the word disappointed 3 times in one paragraph, as if repetition made it honest. He didn't describe me. Not at first. He described himself. His embarrassment. His fear of being pitied. Then he wrote something that made my hands tremble. "I saw your mother change that day. She didn't look at me the same. I think she thought I blamed her." I kept reading. He admitted that after I was born, he avoided holding me in front of family. He didn't want to appear sentimental about what he had privately resented. He let my mother handle me. He let distance form because closing it would require explanation. There it was. The origin story of a silence I'd been living inside for decades. The will reading happened a week later in a beige conference room that smelled faintly of coffee and toner. My sister wore a navy blazer. My mother folded her hands in her lap like she was at church. The attorney read numbers in a neutral tone. $2.4 million to my sister. $1 to me. In acknowledgement. No one reacted visibly. It was almost impressive. My sister didn't look at me. My mother stared at the table. I felt something cold and familiar, not surprise. Recognition. I didn't say anything about the letter, not yet. Back home, I finished reading it. Halfway through, his voice changed. The sharpness softened. He wrote about a night when I was 3 months old and wouldn't sleep. He described walking me through the hallway in the dark. How my hand gripped his finger so tightly he couldn't pull away. I felt something shift, he wrote. But by then I had already chosen distance. And pride is a stubborn thing to undo. He admitted he treated me more strictly. Invested less. Expected more resilience because, in his words, you would need it. Then the final pages. He wrote that he structured the will deliberately and evenly. Your sister thrives in comfort. You survive in discomfort. I tell myself this is a gift. I know it is a rationalization. He didn't apologize. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He ended with, if you are reading this, then you are stronger than I allowed myself to acknowledge. I sat with that sentence longer than any other. There are legal ways to contest a will. Undue influence, emotional coercion. The letter could have complicated the narrative. For a day, I considered it. I imagined courtrooms. Depositions. Years of conversations about what kind of father he had been. Then I realized something uncomfortable. Winning money wouldn't change the childhood. And losing publicly would only confirm the story they already told about me, that I was difficult. Instead, I brought the letter to the attorney. Not to contest, to archive. I'd like this entered into record with the estate, I said calmly. He read portions silently. Then aloud. Because that's procedure. The words sounded different in a professional voice. My sister's composure cracked just slightly when he reached the line about rationalization. My mother's jaw tightened. No one argued. You can't cross-examine handwriting. The letter became part of the official file, permanently attached to his estate. Inseparable from the financial distribution. It didn't change the money. But it changed the record. I declined the dollar, formally. I asked that it be donated in his name to a scholarship fund for second-born daughters pursuing higher education. The attorney raised an eyebrow, but nodded. My sister called me 2 weeks later. I didn't know, she said. I believed her. She wasn't cruel growing up. Just favored. There's a difference. My mother hasn't called. That doesn't surprise me either. What changed isn't external. My bank account remains modest. Her life remains comfortable. The house is sold. The desk is gone. But the doubt that used to follow me, the question of whether I was inherently lacking, has quieted. It wasn't my imagination. It wasn't my inadequacy. It was someone else's disappointment mismanaged into distance. That doesn't fix it. It doesn't erase birthdays that felt smaller or conversations that never happened. But it moves the weight off my chest and back where it belongs. The letter sits in a scanned file on my computer now. Sometimes I reread the last line. Not as validation, just as evidence. He never wanted a second daughter. And still, I became one. Strong, not because he designed it that way, but because I had to be. There's a difference, and now I know it.